Hey, I want to talk about a couple things that have been bothering me as of late. I know these videos where I just sit here and talk don't do very well. I'm not expecting it to do well, though I want the general audience that cares more about me than my content to see this. So I've been thinking of retiring this whole YouTube and stream thing for the past year, and it's getting to a point now where I think about it far too often, and it's beginning to rear its ugly head as of late with the far in between and low effort uploads. I lack the motivation to continue, is what I'm saying, and here's why. So, I started this channel way back when I was in middle school. Back then, I had thought to myself that making YouTube videos and getting a small amount of people to watch them would surely make me cooler, in quotations. Not saying that I wasn't already cool, because I was an absolute Giga Chad, but I wanted to be the coolest one in my friend group, and that one person that when I was talked about, someone bring up the, oh, he has a bunch of YouTube subscribers, he's pretty cool. You know, stupid shit like that for a little bit of validation, a little bit of extra validation. That was my first amount of motivation that I had for me to want to continue doing it. Time had passed and it had worked. Around that time I had 300 subscribers. It worked so well that, in fact, people unironically got jealous and I lost a couple friends over it. But besides that part, I had set out and done and finished what I wanted to do. I had started getting more into the community though, and eventually I saw a guy who at the time had 1,000 subscribers, who was kind of close to my circle, but not quite. And with him, I had made a one-sided rivalry inside my head. I had used that as motivation to keep going with the whole thing. Eventually, I had passed the guy in numbers. I felt accomplished, like that was a major hurdle. After that, I'd taken a small break. That's why there was a gap in even that low-effort content all the way back then. A little while after, probably 2 to 4 years, another old friend of mine quickly started to gain some traction. He went from nothing to about 1,000 pretty quickly. My next bit of motivation was to not get passed up by him, or anyone in general in that group. This was just before the time of the return of Pro Dream Crusher video. A good amount of videos before that didn't do all that well, so I was just barely staying afloat. I haven't been passed up yet, but the channel growth was incredibly slow. Not as slow as it's been in recent years, though. A bit after all that, I'd basically forgotten about it. This is where we get into the return of Pro Dream Crusher. I was going off of absolutely nothing for a good portion of that. There was no motivation, no drive, nothing that made me want to continue forward, other than I had a couple of video ideas and I wanted to make them. Internet Bad TF2 Good comes in at that point. I had made that just because I wanted to do a shitty montage, old school Call of Duty style, and I did. Internet Bad TF2 Good was going to be a small series about that, with maybe a bit of extra effort with some source filmmaker stuff sprinkled in. And then the VacBand video came out and it derailed everything. The VacBand video came out not because of motivation, but out of pure spite more than anything. As much as I hated the VacBand video and how flawed it is, it did bring a resurgence that I wasn't expecting. I thought to myself while making the VacBand video that it would do decently well, but I didn't expect it to become the meme and staple of the channel that it now is. It changed content direction all by itself. The VacBand inspired the grind session review video, which did terribly, but I liked the overall structure of the VacBand video and wanted to kind of emulate it into a game review with less than decent results. The MinePals video was slightly inspired by the grind session video. It was also just fan surface, as all the way back then I'd gotten comments about doing Skyrim content. I liked the overall pacing of the MinePals video. It was paced way better than the grind session and review video. Don't get me wrong though, it still wasn't good. When I made the MinePals, I made sure to make it less rigid than the grind session video, more free-flowing and less obnoxious in terms of layout and format. It was still obnoxious. After the channel cooled down a bit, After the whole VAC stuff, though, I had shit out the Overwatch Echo video. A small return to the montage thing, because it was easy to produce and decently fun despite recording for several hours and only getting minutes worth of usable footage. And then Squares 2 came out. There was no motivation at all behind Squares 2. It was a one-off joke, and then I got into it when the co-host said Squares 3. So then we made Squares 3 and ended off with a bit of story and a large cliffhanger, which has been cliffhanging for an actual year now. I do want to finish up the Squares series. The entire plot is written out and it's basically finalized. It's just hard getting everyone online and ready to record without interference, all at the same time. A while after Squares 3 came out, I had started uploading low-effort meme content again, because that's how the channel originally started growing, and I also had a few ideas in the back burner that I wanted to focus more towards. So instead of letting the channel rot, I figured I'd at least upload something in the wait. In the background of that, I had started getting into streamer groups. Those people had inspired and motivated me to come out of the YouTube shell and start doing more. So I had started Twitch streaming with the main idea of it's technically easier than YouTube and requires way less effort, so I might as well, right? Little did I know how much time it takes up. I thought in the beginning that it would be easy to shit out some streams and then relax after. That wasn't the case, and over time with streaming I had realized that I genuinely like doing the highly edited content. Though with streaming and everything else going at the same time, it wouldn't be I wouldn't have enough time to do both. I realize now that maybe I should have just asked the people that watch my content what they'd rather see, if they'd rather see high effort content, or if they actually like spending time with me and the boys on stream. Another problem is that all of this time, all the motivation and drive has left me. I just don't feel like doing either at this point, because one, I don't have the time for it, and two, low effort, so it just pains me to do it. The channel is practically 1 foot in the grave, and I'm thinking sometime soon is when I have to put the final nail in the coffin, joke intended. The whole experience, though, has taken up so much of my life that I feel like I'm not ready to put it down. If it sounds like to you that all I require is a break, you'd be wrong. I've already neglected the channel. I've already left several times in the past few years, and if I put it down again, even for a moment, I'm fairly certain we lose so many viewers that the channel won't ever be able to come back from it. I get it though, I'm way past my internet prime. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to bring it back to life. I just ask that when it's all said, done, and over, you remember a couple things you saw from here, even if it's only for a little bit. Like, remember the stupid fucking froggy chair.
What's this? Froggy chair?
And why the VAC ban system is broken. Why the VAC ban system is broken. And the it tickles kinda.
It tickles kinda!
Anyway, that's it. I'll be returning to streaming at most 2 weeks from now. Right now it's June 28th. Or a couple days at the very least. And why do you guys want me to become a Minecraft content creator? I fucking hate you all.